What's good, fam? Welcome back. It is
Damn.
Thursday. We are closer to the holidays. I hope everybody
Mhm.
is getting into the spirit. Um, Jammer, once again, thank you for coming on.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't know, this is Relationship Realities with the Texas Brown Sugar and always my special guest,
Mhm.
Jammer from Out.
Fresh out.
Fresh Out. Hey, last night's live stream was
It
kind
was
of
pretty.
tight.
It's pretty serious. It's pretty serious.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not we're not fresh out of jail either. Because I didn't have somebody ask me that before. Man, y'all just get out. Like, nah, fam. Like, that's just the name of the show. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't even think of it that way. And that's very interesting. Very
and when
interesting.
cats have been in the Bing, they might think they think I'm saying they think that's what fresh out means. Oh, you fresh out. You fresh out the joint. No.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. Tonight we have
Welcome.
a couple of interesting topics here on Relationship Realities. We get candid, we laugh, we all things relationships.
Mhm.
And Jammer and I have some pretty extensive experience in this marriage world. And
Mhm.
so let's get started. Oh, but before we go start these videos, let's pause for the cause. We have BIA, Bowie Insurance Agency, who is sponsoring us tonight. And you can definitely get a free quote from her. Make
Free.
sure you check out the link in the description and she can hook you up. It is who my husband and I utilize for both our business and our personal insurance needs. Make sure you tell Miss Ebony that Lessa Texas Brown Sugar sent you. All right, let's get started. And for y'all who are in the comment section, let me know where you are watching from tonight. And hello, good evening, welcome. So let's get started with this first one.
Evan and I got married, we took premarital counseling classes. And I remember one of the lessons in those classes stuck with me forever, but it only made sense up until recently. And we've been married for almost 8 years. The couple leading in the class said, your marriage will not truly begin until you wake up one day, you look at your spouse, and you say, oh, so that's who you are? Basically, what they meant is that often we go into marriage with an expectation of how things should be based on who we think our spouse is and not who they actually are. We bring
Okay, I had to stop because that right there,
That's bars right there.
it is like, and the sad part about it is I'm learning this, late into the game. We
Mhm.
never really had anyone to spit game about marriage, to us. And so that right there is golden.
Go.
And sadly enough, that is what I am seeing is a lot of what I feel like some of these modern women issues is because they have these fairy tales. But I'm gonna let her finish. Like, yeah, she's
Mhm.
she's cooking right now.
a lot of preconceived notions about our spouse based on what we want. And I feel like that has happened to me, and it happens to a lot of people. We don't truly see and accept our significant other for who they are. We often see it through a lens of, well, they're this way, but I really want them to be this way.
Mm.
And maybe we don't say that out loud, but we definitely act that way. That's why often in the beginning of marriage, you go through the phase which is called the battle of will, where basically you guys are just fighting often about whose will are you going to follow. And often that will applies to how we view our spouse. I want my spouse to be more romantic. I want my spouse to clean up more. I want my spouse to be a better dancer. Whatever it is, that's your will. Unfortunately, a lot of marriages don't make it past this stage because they're so in love with who they thought this person could be, not who they actually are. But once you just realize that, you know what, my spouse is this way and that's okay, that's when your marriage can really begin, because you're not hyper focused on fixing them. You're focused on enjoying them and loving them. Now, I know TikTok is big on whataboutism, so let's just address it. This view does not absolve anyone of the important work we need to do in ourselves to have a good marriage, but it does take the pressure off of us in that it's not my responsibility to turn my spouse into my personal project. It is my responsibility to love them and enjoy them and show up the best that I can by accepting who they are. We both can work together at being better, but we can't be better if I don't have an accurate view of who you actually are. So I thought I'd share that.
And
Cooked.
all of the videos that we showcase tonight, I in the description I have put their social media handles, so make sure you support them. Again, being a content creator is difficult to get in front
It
of
is.
camera and millions, so make sure you check them out. But my first question for you, Jammer,
Mhm.
is what expectations or pre notions did you have when you first got married?
You know, it's funny that this is the question because I just wanted somebody who I felt like I had just companionship with, like
Mm,
somebody who I can cohabitate with was very important on my list. It wasn't really like ancillary things. It wasn't about bread. It wasn't about none of that. It was like, man, can we cohabitate? Like that's like the first thing for me. Cause again, me and you come from two-parent households.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I again I seen my mom is bougie and my pops is like this man will save his last nickel that his dad gave him. You know what I'm saying? He's not about to spend no bread at all. Him and my mom are polar opposites. But when I seen how they made that work, I'm like, if them two can work,
Mhm.
like I just wanted somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? I just seen how beautiful my parents' relationship was. I'm like, man, like they ride for each other. Yeah, they get upset with each other, but I really just want somebody who I can just cohabitate with. I can just live like we can live together and have that partnership, that union. The union is partnership. So that was like very, very important for me. And that's what I wanted to get out of the relationship. And like she was wanting to like almost like please me to the point to where I was like, you ain't even gotta do all that. Like I'm good. Like you don't have to bring me a plate of food. Like I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. Like I
But
appreciate
that's
it.
how we were taught,
But that's how she was raised. And I get
Yeah.
that. Now that's a beautiful thing. Like, you know, that's how your family raised you. But I'm like, you ain't even gotta I'll get up and get my plate when I'm ready. When I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even really hungry right now, you know. So but once you start to kind of learn those things, again, you can cohabitate. So I feel like we kind of broke that ice early in the
Mm,
relationship, you know, before we really like tied the knot and stuff. We kind of knew, and we lived together. We had the advantage of living together probably for like 2 years before we actually did get married, you know. So we shared bills. We had, you know, so
uh,
I'm not so anti-Bible to where you can't live with somebody because I feel like in today's time you got to see what somebody's financial responsibility is like. You know what I'm saying? Because if we going to get married and we have not lived together yet, and you just blowing the entire budget, like I got to make sure that we can survive out here. So
so you
it's a
didn't
great
have
question.
any yeah, expectation that, oh, she's gonna at least cook 4 times a day, I mean a night, or you know
Well, she showed me her hand early when it came to that, so I already knew that was part of the package, which I was definitely cool with that because at the time I was like, I can't cook shit. So so to have somebody who could almost replace what my mama was giving to me, not to say I'm my mama's boy, but my mama was nice on that stove. Like
yeah,
she's
yeah.
nice on the stove. So it's like that's already one of them boxes I was able to check, but it wasn't like the main thing. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't like the ultimate. the ultimate for me really was, can we coexist
Mm,
and be able to deal with the things that we probably don't really feel about each other, but we can meet in the middle, like what she was saying. When you really understand who that person is and you
yes.
work through it, you communicate. She said a lot of very, very powerful things, but a lot of what she said was about working together. And then you said how this new generation, these new modern wives, they can't handle that because they come into the relationship with the fairy tale.
Mm,
And she's basically saying she was humbled. And I respect that. Like, it takes a bigger person to say, you know what? I was humbled. I can just deal with him for being him because I have grown to love who he is. And that is such a powerful message. And you got to salute somebody who's able to admit that. We
mm.
all should be able to admit that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. My um perception was what I knew, what I saw, and I thought my husband was gonna be my daddy.
Hmm.
That the things that my daddy did, my husband was gonna do as well,
Hmm.
and that wasn't the case. Not the case at all. And I had to learn and recognize that my husband's not my daddy. My
Hmm.
husband is not the men that I saw in my family. And that took a while. It took a while for me to digest because I was, like she said, I wanted him to be XYZ. I wanted him to do this.
Hmm.
I wanted him to do that. But that wasn't who he was. And that's a huge message because what did Maya Angelou say? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Hmm.
And and I don't understand why we as human beings have these notions about what a marriage looks like. I don't
Hmm.
know if it's these movies and these Disney
A
fairy
lot of what
tales,
it is, man.
but
The
we
marketing, the advertisement that they sell us on so many things, the commercials, like everything that's in our face is how, you see the around Christmas, the woman getting the ring, and then the dude pulls up in a Lexus in the driveway with a bow on it. It's like, come on, that's not reality. But then that stuff starts to seep into our head. That's why I said, like, the people who like are in charge of advertisement and get paid buku money, them people, they run in society.
and so that's my next question. How are these preconceived notions ruining relationships, marriages?
They ruin relationships because people are not willing to humble themselves on, it's okay. Different is not bad. Like,
Mhm.
if there is of course there's like a line of respect. There's like a line of demarcation of respect, um, truthfulness, just being a moral bodied person. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't want to say a spiritual person, because you don't have to be like overly spiritual. We seen some of them people end up like TD Jakes. So I ain't saying you got to be in the church all the time. That's some fake church goers. But somebody that you equally yoke with, it's like, okay, like, we see eye to eye on this. Or, when your back is against a wall, that's when you really learn to work together. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
don't know any relationships
Facts.
where the man and the woman's back was not against a wall at some point, and you had to come together and say, you know what, we gonna make it through this. We just
Yes.
are. And then when you start having children, that changes the game too. But it seems like people are just not willing to dial it back a little bit. It's just like, just because this person is not what you thought they were going to be, or not what you was hoping to be from a
Mhm.
fantasy perspective, does not mean this person can't be the king or can't be the queen, and y'all can still live a beautiful life together.
Yeah.
I just think people just don't want to let go of that, and that's a disease that,
Mhm.
unfortunately, and the Bible teaches us to humble ourselves when it comes to that. Your love for that person should be genuine and not fabricated. Because when you start to want somebody to be a certain way, that's fabrication. Like you want Ken, the Barbie doll. You don't want Kenneth. you know, you don't want Kenny. You
We
want
can't be Barbie
Ken.
and Ken.
Right. That's what you want. You want that Lexus with that bow on it. And that's just
Mm,
not reality.
man, and that's I think is leading to a lot of divorces too,
Hmm.
because people won't don't want to stay in it and put the work in. They think that everybody is supposed to come finished. You know what I mean?
We all
Like
got rough
with
ashes. I need to
oh,
be smoothed out. I came into the game rough. You know what I'm saying? Like I was born rough. Like I'm still working to smooth out my rough spots. You need somebody who can help you do that. That's what a partner is supposed to do.
mm,
That's what a homie does. That's what a wife does. That's what a husband does. Like we supposed to help each other grow and
yeah.
help each other become better individuals. Because like if you just expect somebody to come with that smooth skin, you know what I'm saying, Michael B. Jordan chest, that's just not reality. Somebody who can sing like Tank, that's not reality. It's
On
just
bended
not.
knee too. Yes, on bended knee.
you know, it's just
Oh,
Tyler Perry
interesting.
is killing us, is what he's doing. He's killing us.
Ah, let's move on to this next video. This next video, wild. I can't believe the stuff that is coming out of this young lady's mouth.
Uh-oh.
It's almost unbelievable. But
Uh-oh.
let's check out what she
Let
has to
me
say.
A few things that I don't do as a married woman. Number one, I do not cook for my husband. I only cook for my children. My husband will be making his own breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Number two, I do not help him pay any bills. So if he is short on the rent, on utilities, or anything like that, it is not my problem. I will not be helping him out. His job is to provide for his family, so I am not financially contributing to any of the bills. Number three, I do not do his laundry. I have my own laundry and my children's laundry to do, so he could do his own. I won't help him put it away. I won't help him fold anything. That's his responsibility. Number four, he is responsible for replacing any of his essentials like soap, shampoo, anything like that. He needs to go buy it himself. Even if I'm at the store, I will not be replacing it for him. If he needs new underwear, new socks, or anything like that, that's for him to do. I'm not going to do it for him. I'm not going to enable a perfectly grown ass adult because then they get used to that shit. So, no.
So he can
What
just be
does she do?
lying on the ground bleeding. Oh no, you gotta patch yourself up. I'm not doing it for you. You get hit by a car. You gotta take yourself to the hospital. It ain't gonna be me. You a grown
Oh,
man. You responsible for that. That's tough. She's a tough cookie, boy. Whew.
ooh, yeah, yeah. That was that's a lot.
Hmm.
But what concerns me even more is the fact that she's got an audience, and this audience is right there along with her.
Hmm.
Now, what are you let's first, because before I dig in, what are
Hmm.
your thoughts on her boundaries that she set up?
I mean,
These are truly boundaries.
I'm trying to like separate myself as somebody who's 44 years old. I'm trying to put myself in because she seemed like she's young. A lot of
Mm,
the young ladies I've seen speak like that, for one, they all look the same. That's what's weird. That's like, is it like a curly hair, like almost like a Latina type of? And salute to the Latinas. I mean, there's some great foundational Latino homes. I mean, I got a lot of my neighbors are from
yeah.
the Latam, so I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying like some of these young ones I'm seeing though, seem to be from an ilk that they must come from single parent households, number one, because you
Mm.
will never see no strong man like no just dealing with something like that, you know. And now I'm kind of curious what boundaries were set when they were dating, because she said married and they got
Yeah.
children. So
Yeah.
we're talking about somebody who's also enabling behavior from younger kids when they're gonna see that. And it's like that's gonna start a cycle of it's gonna be hard out here for some of these kids. But but to answer the boundary points, I don't understand why she feels that there has to be that strong of a boundary, because I don't think she would feel the same way, because she's talking about he should be the provider. But provider is different than just providing financially or provide, because that's what she's basically saying. Like he has to provide, he has to give me, give. Okay, where is the let's do this together? She never once mentioned this is what we do together. Everything is, oh, I'm gonna do this for my kids, but no, you got to do this for me. And if it's if you outside, you outside. If you lose your key, I'm sorry, that door is staying locked. I'm not gonna wake up, walk downstairs, and open the door for no grown man. Now, that's what she sounds like. She sounds like somebody who's very, very, very self-centered.
Mhm.
um, and I'm like, you better be well educated to be talking like that, because you might be a independent, strong woman here real soon if you're dealing with a real man. And sometimes I be thinking that's cap. I'm like, does her husband really know that she's out here talking that reckless? And is she doing this
I,
to put on the
I
show?
wonder, but she's, you look at her TikTok, she's saying a lot.
I've seen it. She got a lot of followers too.
She's, um, it's a lot to what she's saying. And that's why I think that that is really truly her thought process, and that is what she may actually be
Man.
doing, maybe. Um, but I mean, do you think as a man that her decision to set these boundaries will cause resentment and imbalance in the relationship?
Mhm. It's definitely going to. Like, that dude is definitely gonna leave her. Like, he has no incentive to stay, because
Mhm.
if he heard what I heard, she's basically saying, "Look, damn with you, bro. I'm good. I know I can take care of me and my kids, but you're on your own, fam." Like, she said she won't even get this dude soap. Like, that's deep. Like, I was like, bro, are you hearing this? I'm feeling for him. I'm like, I wish I had his number. I'm like, hey man, I'm not trying to tell you what decisions you need to make. I just want you to hear this and let me get your thoughts on it. Is this acceptable for you as a man? If he says yes, to me that's abuse. What she was talking, that sounded like just mental abuse. So I feel like she might be an abuser
Oh
for
god.
real. Like I feel like she might be somebody who's willing to put
Yeah.
that blade in his chest if he do something silly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but that's the type of female where somebody gonna step out on her because
Mm.
she's setting these boundaries, and he's gonna end up meeting someone who's humble and who really loves this dude and respects him. I just feel like she's got a world of hurt coming for her. And
Mm.
a lot of people like that just end up getting humble. Cause I mean, come on, like what she's on that's abuse. Like you trying to abuse a grown man. That's what you trying. You talking about you want him to provide, but no, that's
She said
abuse.
he's a grown man and that they got married and he knew he's supposed to be providing and that's what he's supposed to do. And that's what he needs to do.
But do you think every single one of those boundaries that she put out was discussed before he said I do?
I
There's no
don't
way he knew that she wasn't gonna be getting his drawers and buying soap. He couldn't have known that.
She ain't even getting the
She
she
said,
ain't
"Look,
going to Target and getting the 5-pack.
mm-mm, no." I mean, if she pulls up at Costco, she's not getting the pack of soap. she's getting a single. She's breaking up the package and nah, I'm gonna get this one ivory soap for me. You know, the toothpaste. Nah, give me one. Give me the travel toothpaste pack. I want that because he ain't touching my toothpaste. I mean, that's how savage she was with it.
I'm wondering too, like, is the relationship balanced? I mean, if he's doing all of this for himself and providing her with a roof over her head,
Hmm.
I'm assuming a car. Um,
Obviously, with her, he's having to deliver everything.
I'm wondering what is she delivering? And she mentioned in one of her responses that, some people are like, okay, well, if you're not doing that, why did you even get married? And she was like, oh, well, I got married because I love him. And I'm like, so what happens when you guys are
It
in
don't
that
sound like she
valley?
love him though. Whew.
Because guess what? Love is not going to
Mm.
hold you when you're in that valley. Um, Man, I mean,
That was a
do
strong
you
take.
think this relationship can last long term
No,
with these boundaries?
there's no way because she's basically saying, I pray this man never loses his job
Mm,
because she's basically saying, I won't support you at all because your job is to support me. And she said that in so many words without really having to say, like, hey, bro, if you lose your gig, we're done. Like we talked about fairy tale. Like, I don't know what she, I don't know what type of household that she grew up in to where she would envision or see a man taking that type of abuse,
mhm.
you know.
Do you see if there's any benefit to each individual providing their own essentials?
I
Trying
don't
to
see
turn
how
a
that's
little
how
light on
that's ever I don't see how that's ever beneficial.
it.
Well, I'm gonna do me and you do you, and we gonna try to make it work. And what marriage does that work?
It's not a partnership.
That's what she said. I'm gonna do me. She said, if you don't have the rent, I'm not giving you anything. She's cold blooded with it. She's a she's Black Mamba.
Not the Black
The
Mamba.
Cobra was what she is. Woo.
Sick. Yeah. 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 Uh Oh
That's
baby,
deep.
I hope they work this out, and this marriage is a little bit more balanced.
It's a
Interesting.
wrap. I mean, maybe she has a come to Jesus moment, and she's like, you know what?
She's
I was wrong,
proudly showcasing, a cross, and I'm like, is that God?
man.
Like,
But she'd be the first one breaking down though if that man steps out on her. The
mm,
first one on her knees begging for him to come back.
yeah, yeah. Well, Jammer, this next video has been just on my feed on every single platform, time and time again. And I just had to discuss this with you, get a man's point of view.
Mhm.
Let's check it out.
Insecure of a man not to like or want you to dress sexy in order for you to be his wife.
What's sexy?
What I got on, like what I got on right now.
Oh, let me, I gotta get a good look at you. Let me see, where your shirt at? Kitty, what do you think?
I think that sometimes some of y'all women really don't understand how territorial men are. It's different if you were covered up, but baby, you got tape on. So yes, of course, a man who knows how men are going to look at you, knowing that there's going to be men who are going to be predators or going to pursue you, he's right for saying that. That's not meaning that he's insecure, he's territorial. That's a man's nature, and that's absolutely okay. It's your responsibility as his woman to understand his nature and to also have boundaries with yourself, knowing what you are exposing yourself to. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be quick. I'm so glad I can have conversations with my husband because I asked him, we had a deep conversation. I said, what is it about women that will make you not wife her? And the first thing he said, the way she presents herself.
Facts.
That's
Walking
coming from a
billboard.
man. Men will tell you that if you dress provocative, they're going to see you as an object. Stop calling men insecure. That is their God-given right to say, I don't want my woman to present herself out here because not only is she a representation of me, she's a representation of herself.
So, my first question.
Mm-hmm.
Does clothing form first impressions within a relationship?
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, she's absolutely correct. You know, because it's different when a man is looking for a thought versus looking for a woman. You know, that is like a boundary that we have. You know, when we talk about setting boundaries, we talked about that earlier. It's like, look, shorty, you if you willing to dress like this around me, you willing to dress like this around my mama. And it's not really about other men being predatorial. It's really more so I can't take you to the crib to meet my family, and you overlook because they gonna be over there like they're gonna be cooking you, and somebody gonna say something to you that you probably ain't gonna like. Because you know how black families keep it one bean. When it be the family events, people get to drinking. Somebody's uncle gonna be, hey, look at you now, gal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get some of that. So, like, you don't want a female to embarrass you, you know, because then it's just a presentation as it's like you a walking billboard. You advertising yourself as somebody who is easy or loose, and that should not be the perception. And that young lady may not be like that at all. That just may be how she wanted to dress, but she's just not cognizant of how the world and other men view her. So it's not always just 100% about being predatorial. Yeah, we don't, you know, because most secure men know, okay, you going home with me regardless. I'm not really tripping like that. But still, you're willing to advertise that. So if I'm not with you, you're gonna have somebody who's gonna be in heavy pursuit, and they're not gonna stop. You know, because people are crazy out here. You know, you'll have somebody who's under the influence, pulling you by your arm. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people like that on both sides. You know, but it's self-respect to me, and it's just presenting yourself as somebody who you just if you're going to present yourself as a thought, you're going to get that type of crowd following you. And she's probably confused, like, well, I don't understand why I get this type of attraction from men. Like, why that type of dude? Why Pookie is always wanting to holler at me?
I mean,
Be-
because it's the fashion trend. I'm just following fashion.
You following Nicki Minaj, you following Cardi B. You know, they're in a different
And
swimming
Kim
lane,
Kardashian, they set the fashion
and
trends.
they in a different swim lane. Like they can do that. You know what I'm saying? But when you got a job, baby girl, you might work at the hospital. You might be a nurse. You know what I'm saying? What if one of your doctors send you out there with your cheeks out and your boobs out? Like that's not a good look. So it's more than just pleasing me. Again, you a walking billboard. You represent not just yourself. You represent the company you working for. It nowadays it don't matter if you're off the clock. You can post something on social media, or you can be somewhere acting a fool. If somebody see you, it's a wrap. I guarantee you, whatever job she worked at, if they, you know, if it was windy outside, that little joint blew open, she's exposed. Somebody gonna get footage of that, and she's gonna be right on social media, and she gonna get canned. That's what they do.
Do you think there's a gap though between what men say that they like versus what they their actual reaction?
Mm.
Like, you know, men, they like, some men are the behind, and so
Yeah,
I'm gonna show my behind because that's what I know that you like.
I mean, listen, I, I get it, but I feel like there's a time and a place for it though. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like you can do that if you having like a romantic evening with your significant other and y'all just out, you could be on vacation. Like there's a time and a place to do that though. But you don't have to advertise it and broadcast it is what I'm saying. And then because it sounds like cap to a certain point. Because
Hmm.
oh no, I want this. Like it's the same person who wants a fairy tale. The same person who wants a fairy tale man also be the same person dressing like a thought. Them two don't mix. They don't because you're going to get a certain type of individual chasing you because most men who are professional and who definitely want somebody who can be equally yoked with, they're not going to go for that because they're going to feel threatened. They're going to feel threatened by, man, this person might ruin it for me.
Mm.
I'm she might be at the Christmas party with her ass all the way out, or at my mama's house. You know what I'm saying? So I think people are so much more careful now, especially as older they get, because they've been through that before.
Mhm.
So hopefully that conversation that she had will humble her a little bit to understand, like, no, like nobody's saying you can't dress how you want to dress. What they're saying is when you just out and about on the regular, you don't have to, it's not necessary. Like you don't have to win somebody. You already a pretty girl. You don't have to win somebody over by wearing less. That's kind of like the point of it.
So if you know you're a man and she comes, you on a first date, and she comes dressed like that, are you are you saying something? Are you still going out with them? Like, how does that affect the first date? Or is there even a first date?
I would finish the first date, but at the end of that thing, I'd be like, look, I don't know if this one's going to work because you wanted that to be my first impression of you. And I would have
Mhm.
a huge problem with that. It's like you don't even know me. So you're willing, I could be a predator, and you're willing to say, you know what? I'm gonna come out here loose. I just that blows my mind. You know what I'm saying? That somebody would be willing to do that. But like you said, trend. She
Mhm.
and the sad part is she is a beautiful girl though. Like she don't have to dress like that. She don't. And maybe she was in a bad relationship before, and her man told her that he wanted her to dress like that, and her brain is clouded. But she don't even have to go that far. Like she don't. Like she can just wear a sundress and be smooth and be good. Just some jeans and a t-shirt. Like a lot of men are gonna see you for what you are. Like she's good. It's like, but it makes her ugly, but from what she did. I don't want to say ugly. That's strong and that's mean. I would say it makes her unattractive by
Mm.
doing that. Like she don't stand like you don't stand out. Like you're not standing out at all. I mean, it's almost worse than BBL, where somebody just got a BBL that's so big and it's like at some point, like that's not attractive no more. Like you just look silly. You Mr. Potato Head now. Like don't do that.
Not the Mr. Potato Head. Oh, it was funny because I think it was in our group chat. Uh, the Twitter post where it is had a picture of some young ladies back in I think it was 90s
90s.
maybe,
Hmm.
and the post said even the thoughts in the 90s still covered themselves. And I just thought that was just hilarious.
That's real talk though. That is real talk. Like, I mean, I don't again the advertisement the things that are being pushed on these young women is
Mm.
it's sad. I mean, everybody can't dress like Meg. Everybody can't dress like Kim. They're doing that because they can. Like they're celebrities. So we kind of look at them like, oh, we know Megan gonna show her cheeks. That's just what she does. Or we know Kim gonna show. They're trying to, and they're getting paid to do it. Like they're getting paid to wear that stuff. Shorty, you not getting paid to be out here dressing like that. You just
Well, hey,
making your
it brings the boys to the yard.
yeah, you got a target on your back. That's for sure. You gonna get them thirsty boys coming to the yard. Keep walking out there with that milkshake. They coming all right. You know.
Ah.
But just don't be making no TikToks talking about how disrespectful somebody is when you asking for it. You get what you ask for at the end of the day. You know.
You're right. You're definitely right. And like you said, with the young lady, she's beautiful and she may not even be that way, but
She's probably
unfortunately,
not that way. She doesn't seem like somebody who's that way. Somebody who's willing to stand up and vouch for herself. Number one, I respect that because she's
yeah.
basically saying, "Look, I'm not that type of chick." Where you fall at though is if you lined up with other females that may not look as good as you, a lot of real dudes is going to shift straight past you and
Oh,
go to
so
them
they
other
gonna get
females.
chose and not she. She won't get chose.
Yeah, you gonna be left at the altar. But the dude like Uncle Leroy will holler at you. He can be, yeah, girl. I want me a nice little tender, little young thing. He'll rock with you. You know, he'll get
Uh,
down with you, but you're not gonna get no dude that is your age
mm.
that's gonna really want to like rock with you like that and keep you. You're gonna get somebody who wants you to be the toy. That's not a relationship.
And I guess that's, kind of hard for young women who like dressing that way because they feel sexy and confident, but
Hmm.
at the same time they're wanting to be in a relationship. And it's man, you have to work that
But
out.
that's the
You gotta
thing though,
balance
Les.
that
Like sexy comes in. There is no blanket picture of sexy. Like there
out.
is no still shot of sexy. There's a lot of women who's sexy who don't dress like that. I mean,
Facts.
what's her name? Sade, one of the sexiest women ever. They ever walked this earth. She don't dress like that. She don't have to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you really can dress normally and still be just ungodly sexy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think she understands that.
Mhm.
I think she has a perception of what sexy is, but she don't understand sexy from a man's perspective. You
Mhm.
know, you're looking at Instagram. Instagram is not like that's fantasy sexy. That's stripper sexy. That's different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's completely different. That don't mean there is no ranking of sexy. Sexy is sexy regardless. But
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, if you trying to pull somebody, like if you dressing stripper sexy, then you're not gonna get somebody who's really wanting to be with you. They not looking at you. They
Mhm.
looking at your utensils, at your tools. They looking at the tools in the shed. At the end of the day.
Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. Man, this has been a great convo. I
Hmm.
definitely thank you, Jeremy, again for a wonderful
For
discussion
sure.
tonight, and hopefully we will see you all next week. And have a great, productive week.
Please have a great week. Actually,
Week.
we at the end of the week now. Like enjoy your Friday.
Yes. All right.